And we're also tracking growing tremors within the ruling All Progressives Congress. Just days ago, National Chairman Ganduje abruptly stepped down under controversial circumstances, sparking new questions about internal power shifts, northern discontent, as well as the future shape of the APC. Earlier today, the All Progressives Congress fixed 24th of July for its National Executive Committee meeting. The acting national chairman of the party, Ali Dalori, assumed office earlier today. He also presided over a meeting of the National Working Committee at the party secretariat in Abuja. Ali Dalori was the deputy national chairman North. He took over as the acting national chairman following the resignation of Ganduje last Friday. This decision was made pending the time the National Executive Committee fills the position permanently. Upon his assumption of office, the APC acting national chairman acknowledged Ganduje's contributions and expresses gratitude for his service.
To all party members and the stakeholders, I urge us to stay united. Political transition obtained created uncertainty, but we must not allow it to breed disunity. We must avoid actions and words that divide us and focus on what binds us, our shared belief in the promise of Nigeria and the future of the APC. In days ahead, I will share with you a practical roadmap to guide our work during this interim period. It will cover key areas such as party discipline, reconciliation, communication and member mobilization, and broader stakeholder engagement.
Let's bring in Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Honorable Durosimi Miseko. He joins me now to help us separate fact from fiction and understand precisely what's going on in Nigeria's ruling party. Honorable Miseko, thanks for joining us. Let's get straight to the point. What really led to Ganduje's resignation?
Thank you very much, Nifemi. What led to Dr. Ganduje's resignation is no longer news to the people. He issued a statement he personally signed, citing health reasons, that he needed time to take care of his health. And, I feel that the hallmark of a statesman indeed. Some other persons will perhaps even hide, their health position, and they will still be there, hanging precariously. But, that's a statesman. He said, for health reasons and for my own personal welfare, that he had decided, to resign, to allow for somebody else to take charge. I want to assure Nigerians, I want to assure our party faithful that there is nothing different for what he has said. All the insinuations being bandied about are just the usual things that you hear, in beer parlor gossips and all of that. The former national chairman, being the patriot that he is, decided, to resign when he felt he needed time to take care of himself and his health.
You know that not many people buy what has now become the official narrative of the ruling party. The conversation has been whether or not this is voluntary or it was pressure to step down. One of the stories you've talked about is the fact that some have said he stepped aside to face corruption allegations, but the timing and then the initial silence from key party figures have also sparked a lot of speculation. It took a long time to get somebody significant from the party to confirm the story. Can you confirm if this was a Villa-led decision? Because that's also another part of the story.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nobody pressured him. I'm sure you know the pedigree of the person of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. He was a former deputy governor, was a former governor, 8 years in Kano, 8 years as deputy governor. And at his age, I'm sure you know that he knows what he wants and what is good for him. Usually, when situations like this happen, it is common in a democracy for people to speculate. There's nothing wrong. If you feel that your health or the position of your health perhaps is not good enough for you to hold such a rigorous position, as is, obtaining in most advanced democracies, there's nothing wrong in him doing that. Nobody, I can confirm confidently to you that nobody pressured him. It's not a villa pressure. The president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the leader of our party, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, did not pressure him. And of course, the president couldn't have even pressured him, because every now and then the president will always refer to him as his very dearly beloved brother and friend. So it was his decision, personal decision, for which we have no control over.
Well, it was a very abrupt one, considering the fact that he was still in Benue. I remember the president's comment about his presence during that visit. So I'm sure you also agree with me that that decision was abrupt, and it is fair that Nigerians have reacted the way they have. But let us talk about certain issues prior to his resignation. I understand your position, but there are also other valid circumstances and situations that we've been following. There are reports of deepening northern agitation within the APC over what has been described as alleged marginalization in federal appointments and party leadership. The last time Bayo Onanuga was on this show, he mentioned that the presidency will look into that matter and do its own research. How relevant is this to what is going on currently within your party? Some have also talked about agitation from the North Central, saying they have not been well represented even in the current architecture of the APC.
Well, thank you very much. I'm from the North Central, and I'm sure beyond the fact that the North Central zone protested initially, that the national chairman was ab initio zoned to the North Central zone, I don't think there's been any much further agitations from North Central about the fact that, we are marginalized and all of that. The Secretary to the Governor of the Federation, by the grace of God today, is from North Central, and even the North Central caucus of the party had severally visited the National Secretariat of the party to say, that there was no more agitation about that particular position, the national chairmanship position, that since in the wisdom of the president and leader of our party, and of course also the wisdom of NEC to put Ganduje there, that we had to flow along with that. And that has been what it has been, and that is what it is even till now. So
you mentioned, not true. Yes, go ahead, Honorable. Honorable Mr.
Sorry, I said
ahead.
It is not true. Yes, I'm saying that it is not true, that there's still serious or rigorous agitation from the North Central, and maybe it was even part of the situation that led, has been alleged, that led to the resignation of the former national chairman.
You mentioned the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, who also was erroneously reported to have resigned to occupy the position of the national chair by some media over the weekend. The APC, the presidency rather, debunked that story as not true. You are from the North Central. Are you saying specifically that the North Central is not in contention for the the seat of the party's national chair as we speak?
No. I am not saying that. I mean, in politics, all the zones, all the zones have rights, to contest for a particular position or the other. But of course, in party politics, there is the principle of zoning. And that is why we have slated July 24, as the new date for our NEC meeting, where such decisions will be taken. If it is in the wisdom of NEC that the North Central should have it this time, why not? We'll be glad to have it. I mean, there's no person, there's no individual, or there's no group of people or an individual that will not like a good thing. I'm from North Central. Of course, it will be my joy that the next national chairman comes from the North Central zone. All I told you was that your statement that maybe the North Central is seriously agitating, and perhaps, that the zone is even heated up because of that situation is not true.
Let's take a short break. It's the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC. Thank you for staying the course on the program this evening. You talked about the National Executive Committee meeting that will hold in July, where we expect to see the ratification and a major response to what has been happening recently within the party. But precisely, if you can you confirm if the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, is considered a major contender for this position, because it's been on the news for all of this?
No, I cannot confirm that. He's a politician, and he has a right, if he so wishes, to go for it. Of course, this is a personal decision to make. But as I speak now, I cannot confirm that to you, because he has not told me anything. On a personal note, he has not said, "Oh, Duro, I want to contest, I need your support," or "This is what I want to do." And I'm not sure he has also done that to any member of the NWC. It is just in the realm of speculations.
From Rivers to Kano to Edo, and now at the national level, are you willing to admit or acknowledge that your party has an internal democracy problem that has to be resolved ahead of the 2027 election?
No, absolutely not. Nothing can be further from the truth. Our party is very strong. Our party remains solidly structured as a progressive party. I am able to say today that there is no party in Nigeria that enjoys, the concept of internal democracy than the All Progressives Congress, the APC. There's nothing is happening in our party. Our party is as robust as ever. Our party is, very well concerned with delivering dividends of democracy to the good people of Nigeria, as ably led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, you know that the Renew Hope agenda is yielding results everywhere. I don't want to start reeling, facts and figures now about what we are experiencing under the Renewed Hope agenda. And of course, as a party too, we are very much aware of the responsibilities ahead of us to lead well, as the ruling party in this nation. And so we are strong, even stronger than ever. Of course, you can see that day in, day out, people are trooping into our party. Governors are coming in, left, right, and center. If something is wrong in our party, will they come? No.
There are concerns about, despite the fact that the election is 2 years away, there is a lot of conversation as to whether or not President Tinubu will retain the vice president as his running mate, and I'm sure you followed that protest also in the Northeast. Officially, how is the APC reacting to this?
Well, even though I'm one of the spokespersons of the party, but I have to speak the mind of the party. I do not have the mandate of the party to say anything on that. It is not something that we have to discuss. It is within the rights of Mr. President. I'm speaking personally now, within his right to pick his running mate. And all the hula baloo over whether the vice president will be picked or not is still left to Mr. President. He has the decision to make. It's a personal decision of his to make. Of course, in consultations, with the party and all of that. And the presidency has issued a statement, a rebuttal to most of the speculations that, there's nothing like that, and that the vice president remains the vice president, and that when the time comes for the president to take such a decision, of course, he will take the decision. It is for him to make. He is the candidate, and he knows who to be his running mate at any given point in time.
They say Mr. President isn't enjoying as much support within the Northern Bloc as he used to prior to 2023. Is that a concern for the APC? Some have said it's perhaps why.
It's not a concern at all, because if it were true, we wouldn't be getting people, from the north coming into our party. Only 2-3 weeks ago, we had 2 or 3 senators from Kebbi, the camping from PDP into our party, ditto from Kano State, everywhere, day in, day out, Zamfara, all over the places. You see politicians of note coming into our party, mainly because of Mr. President, because of what the Renewed Hope agenda, has achieved. So if what you said now were to be the true situation, of course, we wouldn't be getting all these frontline northern politicians, great grassrooters, into our party. It would have been the other way around.
Well, they say it is the norm for politicians to keep changing parties, especially gravitating towards the ruling party. I know a couple of opposition members who have been very, very loud about their opposition to this government. Speaking with them recently, I see that things have changed drastically. But that also brings up the question of ideology. When you consider what had happened in Delta and Akwa Ibom and a couple of other states where people are living in droves, your party had contested on the platform on the basis of the fact that the PDP isn't doing the right thing, isn't bringing governance to the people. But it's the same members of the party that you're taking in drove and welcoming them in open arms. What's the place of ideology in our current political system? What's your personal reaction to that?
Yes, thank you, Nifemi. I want you to know that we, as a party, we are called the progressives. So if those that are not progressives, maybe conservatives and all, decide to be born again and be progressive, what is wrong with that?
I mean, by joining your party,
because
they have
when
just
they come
changed.
into our party, we have our ideals, we have our, do's and don'ts. And then I say, okay, so now we want to do business with you. There's nothing wrong with that. Because this is politics.
You don't see a challenge ahead of an election. Take, for instance, Delta, where the entire PDP structure collapsed and joined the APC. What happens to those who were in your party before, who are also nursing ambition to run in 2027?
You see, when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. The Delta that you have mentioned, all the stakeholders, including the old members and the new ones severally. I was there the first time, even when the critical stakeholders met and agreed to work together in the interest of the party. And that the party is bigger than, the party's interest is bigger than even the interest of any individual. So that you came to join our party today and you met another person here does not stop you from contesting. It doesn't stop you. I mean, you are talking of contest. You didn't say, oh, he's coming to hijack. You say he wants to contest. That's why it's democracy. If the people feel in their own wisdom that, oh, the new person, the new entrant to the party is the one they want to vote for, why not? That's the beauty of democracy.
All right. Interesting days ahead. We'll see how your party navigates all of this development, especially ahead of the NEC meeting on 24th of July. But that's our time. Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Honorable Durosimi Miseko, thank you so much for talking to us.
My very great pleasure. Thank you.
That's our show today, everyone. You can watch it again